All right. Now we're here. Okay, check it out, guys. Ford. Stacey's car is starting to have some trouble. It's got 94,000 miles on it. It's a 2017. Water in the cylinder, right? Okay. Why is this a big deal? Well, I would like to take you through some of what I've learned, and I'm going to show you a few things that I've learned in the stock market because here's the deal. I am so sick of people not doing the right thing. Uh, the precious metals mining companies that haven't done the right thing. Uh, and I'm sick of it. I'm going full bore Conan the Barbarian on people that are scammers. Okay. And I plan on sharing everything that I learn with the community. And when I say Conan the Barbarian, I mean drive them before you, crush your enemies, drive them before you, and hear the limitations of the scammers and the central bankers, because it all goes together. Now, uh, maybe I should show you. I'm going to show you what's going on. If you have a Ford Edge, a Ford Escape, a 2.0 EcoBoost, there's a big problem with them. I think they fixed it in 2020, but the problem is they knew about it. They knew about it, and now there's a class action lawsuit. I am not into suing people. It's not something I really want to get into and do. I don't know exactly what to do, but I do know how to look at the stock market and how to figure about if the stock's going to go down. But before we get into that, I want to show you how manipulated it is. Jim Cramer came on a show, and he said the quiet part out loud. How they manipulate the news. And so that's kind of where I started in my stock trading. I've got to figure out the people that spoof the market, that run it up just to pull it out from under us. Who has not experienced that? That's all I've experienced with the stock market. That's why I don't buy and hold anymore. I am a trader. Okay. I'm just getting into it, and I've learned some really cool stuff just for these situations right here. This is why. This is what I did. This is why I've been working on it till midnight every night. Stacey has been bringing me my food into my gym. I stay because I've got a setup with my screens and all my charts in my gym now, and it's really starting to work out, and it's very, very exciting. Now, what's going on with Ford? All right, well, let me show you. Let me share the screen with you real quick. And I'm going to window. Okay. Bear with me here. All right. Here's the Ford Ecoboost lawsuit overview. Now, 5 Ford owners filed for a class action lawsuit against Ford Motor Company, accuses the automaker of knowingly selling vehicles with defective EcoBoost engines that cause coolant leak into the cylinders. That's exactly what's going on with Stacey's vehicle. The suit argues that Ford had known about the problems with its Ford EcoBoost engine since 2010. Did that keep them from pumping them out? Absolutely not. You're welcome to check it out. I just wanted to show you the lawsuit. If you're into that and you are having these troubles, look into it further. Now, let me show you exactly what's going on, because I had to figure out for myself. So here's the little motor, and you see that line right there? That is a little coolant, I'm going to call it a gash, a cut. So coolant can get through there and I guess cool the top part of the cylinder. Whatever engineer came up with that should, how stupid must you be? Can you imagine the little tiny sliver of gasket material that's there and how much pressure this aluminum block has with a little 1/8 inch of aluminum right there. Well, that's where it's cracking. It's water is getting in the second and third cylinder. Stacey's car's the third cylinder, and it started running hot. It started running rough. I changed the spark plugs and all that stuff. And the other day she ran out of water, and I thought, oh man, here we go. Now that's the problem with the Ford. Now, what are we gonna do about it? Well, here's one of the things I'm gonna do about it. But let me kind of go over what the deal is. So you guys know that I have been studying this. I've been through Johnny Bravo's course, simplistic charts, Joe's course. I'm studying smart money concepts, and it's important for you to understand I am not giving you advice. I'm going to start making these videos because it's really starting to open my eyes. And when you understand, there is a algorithm that the central banks and all the people that run everything, the powers that be, there's an algorithm that is set at midnight, New York time. And when they say market go here, that's what it does. How do you beat that? Well, that's the rabbit hole I've been going down for the last 6 months. And it's really starting to open my eyes up, and it has to do with smart money and hedge funds. But before we go to the charts, I want you to know what you're up against, okay? And this ought to be public knowledge. This ought to be on every billboard. It makes me sick, and it's going to make you sick too. Stand by.
Maybe it probably is bigger market now. Maybe you need 10 million in capital. And I was short.
There's a lot of economic data out today, but I want to talk about something else first. Again, today we have the misdirection from the futures. The futures pointing to an up market, and as of right now, it's actually down again. Is this just because it's the holiday period that we're seeing this?
You know, a lot of times when I was short at my hedge fund and I was positioned short, meaning I needed it down, I would create a level of activity beforehand that could drive the futures. It doesn't take much money. Similarly, if I were long and I would want to make things a little bit rosy, I would go in and take a bunch of stocks and make sure that they're higher, and maybe commit 5 million in capital to do it, and I could affect it. What you're seeing now is it probably is bigger market now. Maybe you need 10 million in capital to knock this stuff down, but it's a fun game. And it's a lucrative game, and you can move it up and then fade it. That's often creates a very negative feel. So let's say you take a longer term view intraday, and you say, listen, I'm going to boost the futures, and then when the real sellers come in, real market comes in, they're going to knock it down. It's going to create a negative view. That's a strategy very worth doing when you're valued on a day-to-day basis. And I would encourage anyone who's in the hedge fund game to do it because it's legal,
right?
And it is a very quick way to make money and very satisfying.
Okay.
Well, by the way, no one else in the world would ever admit that, but I can care.
That's right, and you can say that here.
I can't. I'm not going to say it on TV.
Well, on a related note, there's so many more hedge funds today than when you were managing your hedge fund.
Right.
Do you think that does that exacerbate the moves, or does it make it tougher?
Well, you know, the hedge funds are positioned long short, okay, not just long like mutual funds. So it's really vital these next 6 days because of your payday. You really got to control the market. You can't let it lift. When you get a research in motion, it's really important to use a lot of your firepower to knock that down because it's the fulcrum of the market today. So let's say I were short. What I would do is I would hit a lot of guys with RIM. Now you can't foment. That's a violation of
foment.
Yeah, you can't foment. You can't create yourself an impression that a stock's down. But you do it anyway because the SEC doesn't understand it. So that's the only sense that I would say this is illegal. But a hedge fund that's not up a lot really has to do a lot now to save itself. So this is different from what I was talking about at the beginning where I would be buying the Qs and stuff.
Right.
This is actually just blatantly illegal. But when you have 6 days and your company may be in doubt because you're down, I think it's really important to foment if I were one of these guys. For men, an impression that research in motion isn't any good because research in motion is the key today. So, you know, you would hit this guy and that guy, and when you would see an offering, when you see a guy who's bidding, you'd wipe out that guy very quickly. And what I used to do was called, if I wanted to go higher, I would take and bid. And if I wanted to go lower, I'd hit an offer. And I could get a stock like RIM for maybe, that might cost me 15, 20 million, Annie, to knock RIM down. But it would be fabulous because it would beleaguer all the moron longs who are also keying on research and motion. So we're seeing that. That's, you know, again, when your company's in a survival mode, it's really important to defeat research in motion and get the Pisanis of the world and the people talking about it as if there's something wrong with RIM. Then you would call the journal and you get the bozo reporter on research in motion, and you would feed that there's a Palm's got a killer it's going to give away. These are all the things you must do on a day like today. And if you're not doing it, maybe you shouldn't be in the game.
Okay. Another stock that a lot of people are focused on right now seems to be Apple.
Yeah, Apple's very important to spread the rumor that that both Verizon and AT&T have decided they don't like the phone.
Right.
It's a very easy one to do because it's also you want to spread the rumor that it's not going to be ready for Macworld. And this is very easy because the people who write about Apple want that story. And you can claim that it's credible because you spoke to someone at Apple, because Apple isn't in it doesn't.
Right, they're not going to comment. They're not going to say.
So it's really an ideal short. And I would, again, if I were short Apple, I would be working very hard today to get that. And the way you would do that is you pick up the phone, you call 6 trading desks, and you say, listen, I just got off the phone with my contact at Verizon. And he has already said, listen, we're a Lucky G house. We're a Samsung house. We're a Motorola house. There's no room for Apple. They want too much. That we're not going to let them in. We're not going to let them do what they did to music. And, you know, I think that's a very effective way to keep a stock down.
Right.
I might also, by the way, because the stock at 84, 85, a little bit of capital, you go buy some January 80 puts that makes it look like there's going to be something going on. So maybe you give Morgan an order to buy 1,000 Jan 80 puts. Then you go position limit with, you use a hat firm that doesn't know what the heck it's doing. Maybe you go to UBS for puts. And you just kind of create an image that there's going to be news next week. And that's going to frighten everybody. Right. Then they all go out and say large put buyer UBS. And then they call Pisani again. You have
news. They're calling the news article, the news companies, MSNBC, all of them, and they're saying, "Hey, this is happening," and it's a complete lie. That's the point. It's a lie, and everywhere I go, it's like this. Let's just finish watching the video. I was gonna cut it off, but it's too good. It's too good to just watch a little bit.
To use those guys and say, listen, I see a big buyer puts and I'm told that it's SAC. You would do that too. And these are all what's really going on under the market that you don't see.
Right. Nobody else talks about it.
But what's important when you're in that hedge fund mode is to not do anything remotely truthful. Because the truth is so against your view,
right,
that it's important to create a new truth, to develop a fiction. And the fiction is developed by almost anybody who's down like 2% to up 6% here. You can't take any chances. You can't have the market up any more than it is if you're up 6, because starting Jan 2, you'll have all your money come out. So What would you do if you're in that situation and you feel like you're desperate? Is that you would do these actions.
So you're talking about the mechanics of the market.
Well, the mechanics are much more important than the fundamentals.
Oh, okay. Well, but in terms of the fundamentals, you've been writing about how you think
about the fundamentals. Research in motion just blew out the quarter.
Right.
But look what people can do. I mean, that's a fabulous thing. The great thing about the market is it has nothing to do with the actual stocks.
Right.
Now, look, over maybe 2 weeks from now, the buyers will come to their senses and realize that everything that they heard was a lie. But then again, Fannie Mae lied about their earnings for $6 billion. So,
right, and Bristol Myers lied.
It's just fiction and fiction and fiction. And I think it's important for people to recognize that the way that the market really works is to have that nexus of hit the brokerage houses with a series of orders that can push it down, then leak it to the press, and then get it on CNBC. That's also very important. And then you have a kind of a vicious cycle down.
Right.
And it's a pretty good game.
I'm going to show
and
you.
it can be played. It can pay for a percent or two.
Right. And then do you get long before Macworld and the expectation that the iPhone is going to be good? Right. And then you go back, flip to the long side.
Got to use the other side.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's a case where I would say the January 80 puts can be justified, because after I've knocked the stock down to 80, I can buy a lot of common. And then you play it right into Macworld, where they'll probably introduce the phone and Verizon's going to take it.
Okay. Well, maybe the fundamentals don't matter, but let's talk about the Fed.
Remember, what Wall Street Confidential is not giving you the party line. Oh, here's the party line, by the way. I spoke to Apple on the phone. I hear the phones are good, and Verizon might take it. And as a matter of fact, the research in motion sellers, I don't think they know what they're talking about. You know,
But you've been writing about the cell phone market. You think you don't want to
well,
be involved in that.
The problem with the cell phone market, frankly, is that these guys are all killing each other. You know,
Right.
someone has to take a dive. Motorola and Nokia have to get in a room and just fix price. They've been reluctant to do that because of the various justice departments and because they
it's illegal, right? Yeah.
Well, that hasn't stopped a lot of other companies.
This is true.
This seems to be a case where they seem to be directly worried about the authorities. It's almost as if they have a lawyer that matters, unlike, say, the Bristol Myers lawyers. And, you know, what eventually happens is the shareholders demand that you get phony lawyers and you sit in the room. And it'll happen soon.
Real quick, the Fed, the numbers out today weaker than expected.
Oh, so what? The Fed has obviously got to cut. But, you know, again, you call the various guys who cover the bonds and you say, ignore the bond action. What's really happened is the Fed is very frightened about, and then you gin up the number that they're really frightened about. The Fed is actually desperate to try to figure out, you know, how quickly they have to cut without looking like dopes that they raised.
Right, because they've been talking about they're worried about inflation all this last few months.
You don't want to raise in May and then cut in January. You look like Mexico, for heaven's sake. I mean, this is like a distinguished group of people who went to really good schools.
Right, these are smart guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't want to look like dopes.
But when we were talking earlier in the week, you said you think it would be some sort of crisis, possibly Ford being a trigger.
Well, you know, Ford went and did all that. You know, they pledged all this investment banking to all these guys. So now
I can't listen to this guy anymore. What a piece. You know, I know other people like this. They will do absolutely anything for money. That's their thing. Whatever, it does not matter. Whatever it is, they will do it. Now, let's go to Ford stock. And now this is natural gas. We can talk about natural gas if you want, but while we're here, before I go to Ford, I do want to show you something. This is it working? Hang on. Bear with me. All right, we're here, right? We're here. Okay. I'm going to do probably a whole video on this. Mainly, look where we're at, guys. $1.53 a thousand. Now, it's important to notice real quick. I know I'm talking about Ford and this is off subject, but I don't want anybody to miss this. Today, 2020, 2016. Now, something happened. Here's 2008. See what happened? Somewhere in here, 2008, they let the cat out of the bag, the genie out of the bottle, whatever you want to call it. 99. We're close to 95. We're getting a little abstract now, right? So let's just say we're at almost the same level as 98. Crazy. This is one of my goals. To be able to have several of these contracts as this kind of manipulation right here. And I can take you to some other articles that is news related, where hedge funds are getting out and all the stuff that drives the market now. Well, here's one thing I want to point out, and I'll get off this. 91, 95, we made a higher high. Went up here, 2008, lower low. Okay. Now this is just something I have been studying. I don't see very many people talking about the natural gas market. What I want you to know is it looks like we're at the same level here, but look how it respected. Here and here. It's like you could flip the chart over and it would be the same. Look at this one. 02, 01, 2011, 2012, 2012. Now, is that not nutty? Okay, same. Now you go down to here where we're at. Close to the same. You know, we'll call these relative equal lows, right? Now, common sense would say when we're going down about a 1/4 inch there, okay? The next, well, let's call that 3/16. That's what you get when a welder's teaching charts. So, logic, not that it belongs in the market, would say the next low would be right here, $1.24, $1.25. But we do live in the Thunderdome. If you're not familiar with the Thunderdome, it's anything post 2020 goes, and really anything after 2008. That's when it broke. We could go down here. If it's not this time, it'll probably be next time, $1.04. Now, if you're capable, and I'm not encouraging trying to buy the bottom by any means. I have already tried to do that, and it doesn't work. Okay, but there is places to get in. Now, this is the monthly chart. It's easy to see, and I can fit it all on the screen. And you can go back from the monthly to the weekly, to the daily, to the 4 hour. You can really get it down to what you can see. And I'm tempted to take you into the charts. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. To do a kind of a dive in on tops down analysis. Smart money concepts is really starting to change things. But in this video, we're going to talk about Ford. Let me go to Ford. Ford, there you are. Okay. We're not going to look at the monthly, but we can look at the weekly. And you'll notice there's no indicators on here. I'm getting away from using a bunch of indicators because I want to be able to just spot what the central bankers are up to, what the people like Kramer are doing, and how you can know and see it is these wild wicks. Look, what do you think happened right here? Do you think the market was legitimately going up and it's everything's hunky dory and the Ford's going to go to the moon? And then all of a sudden you have this big long sell off all the way down. That's smart money manipulating the market up so they can pull the rug out from under you. It happens over and over and over. Now, okay, we know this, right? We also know the market's coming down. What the heck is these green candles doing in a down market? These little tiny spinning top indecision candles. Okay. If you go, and I might have to go, and this works really well in the futures market, but we'll just talk about this one for now. Let's go to the daily. I could show you on the weekly, but we need to be a little bit closer to what's going on right now. If you go to whatever you're looking at and you're expecting some type of manipulation, because we know that Ford is nationalized. They've taken so many loans, from the government that they're a big part of the system that's manipulated by the same algorithm that starts in the morning. It is a little different than futures. And guys, it's very important for you to understand. I'm just showing you what I know up to this point. I've been studying this till midnight, and I'm going to get it. And it's blowing my mind, the stuff that I've figured out already. But I want to drop okay, right here. Now, and for you guys that are familiar with all the indicators, I'll put let's do the 9 and the 20, just because a lot of people are familiar with that. In the 200, 9 and the 200, 20 and the 200, whatever you want to do. It looks like Ford broke through the 9 and could possibly bounce off 20 or break through. Okay. Well, if you take just a horizontal line, make it real simple for yourself, and put it right where we're at. What are we expecting? We're expecting the market to go down, considering Ford has the electric truck problem. They're awful. People having a lot of trouble. The Ecoboost, I don't know how many motors Ford has had with this Ecoboost, and now they're about to get sued because they've known about it for 14 years and it didn't stop them from selling it. I would say they're in a little trouble. But what I want you to notice is when you're expecting something, just look left. Look left. Look at that manipulation. Look at what happens over and over. See right through that one. This was an important level. You can't tell me it just magically stops at this important level. Now, this is very prevalent on the higher time frame charts, but you'll see these little indecision, some people call them order blocks, and I'll go jump back to natural gas. It's a little easier to see that over there, and it's a lot easier to see it on the weekly and the monthly. And this is just where we're at. There's a little indecision candle right here, respecting, and this is the manipulation that I'm talking to you about. And I want to show you one more thing that has opened my eyes up to this, and I'm going to go to the futures market because it works really well there. And if you're not familiar with SMT, CTI, the smart money concepts, the manipulation that happens in the morning, it's incredible, and it's really exciting because it gives me hope, and I know we have a chance. Let's just go to this one. Let's go. I want to go back to the monthly on the natural gas because just the manipulation is out of this world. Look at that. Look at that big long wick in the middle of nowhere. Well, go back and put this up there and look left. If this happened and you're like, man, there's no way that went up there and then just fell out. They were conning people. They were conning people into the market and they ripped down. Well, when that happens, you can go back and look. Look. That gives you a little insight. There's their fingerprints all over this. These little manipulations that happen. And they do the same thing over and over. Now, okay, maybe you're like, I don't know, Chris, this is a little out there. Well, what happens here? I'm going to show you a little something that I found out about, and it's called, well, let's just call it the silver bullet. But this is on the monthly. This is what I was saying. You could go back. You could go back into the charts start off at a higher time frame. You can go to the weekly. Wow, it looks a little different, doesn't it? But did you see on the monthly where hey, we're at the top, and then they take everybody out? Hey, we're at the top. Hey, it's over and over and over, but it does peter out. It peters out right here. And I want you to look. There's a gap in between this candle. And if you'll go back in the futures market, NASDAQ, the Dow, S&P, there's these gaps, and they respect these gaps. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. And guys, I'm nowhere near qualified to teach this. I just want to show you so you can do your own research because this is exciting. So where's our gap now? Right here. That was the gap before the market said bye-bye. Right here. Okay, there's another one. No, I'm sorry, that wasn't it. Right here. There's a lot of gaps, but you can zoom in at a higher time frame, a lower time frame. We can catch that one too. I'll show you in a minute. There's no candle between. There's nothing beside this candle. You see, there's no wick. There's no body. There's no wick. There's no body. The market retraces back up into this fair value gap. That's the way ICT calls it. And it does that, and then it just pukes. And from what I understand, what happens is they're not able to fill all their orders. It creates a gap, and they go back and revisit it. And you can go down to the daily, and you can see all the opportunities, how you can pin it down. You can scoot your gap in a little closer. And that was the opportunity. And guys, if you're into this, if you're into trying to figure out what's going on, how do we get in? How do we find the manipulations? You can hit this replay button. If you've got a trading view chart, if you're set up on trading view, that's just a platform. They've got a replay button here. And this has been paramount in my learning. I will sit out here for hours and replay over and over and over. And you can go back and figure on what they're doing. Not in real time, but here's the buttons down here. You can do it one click at a time, or you can hit this play button. We're just going to go one click at a time. It goes up, it touches your gap. Okay, what do we see here? What do we see? What do we see? Look. Why did this happen? Why was the market going straight up and then all of a sudden it turned around right in the middle of a freaky bull run? There's your manipulation. Why did the market go up right in the middle of a down run? There's your manipulation. Now, and while you're doing this replay, you can sell one contract. It's expensive. Natural gas is expensive to buy one contract. And you can see down here, there's going to be people that bought because they thought they were at the bottom. There's going to be a lot of sell stops now, a lot of liquidity. That's more than likely where it's going to go after they retrace. Right there. Now that would be a really good day for us, okay? Now, this is hindsight. I'm not telling you I can do this every day. I'm just saying, pay attention. Things are happening, and I think there's a way to figure it out. So if you like this kind of content, please hit the like button. I'm going to be doing more of it because I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be the bag holder anymore. I've been ripped off too many times by, man, you name it. And even in this, if you're thinking about getting into trading, there is so many people selling picks and shovels, selling things, I've been involved in prop firms. You know what a prop firm is? It's where you can spend $50 and play the stock market with $50,000, and you can have a $2,000 drawdown and you blow the account, but you can reset it for $50 and they'll pay you if you jump through all their hoops and you know to get paid eventually. And there's people that do it. It can be done, but just know it's unlikely. Because first thing you think of is, okay, well, I'll just buy 10 of those accounts like I did, 5 of them at a time, link them to a copy trader, and make a couple $100 in each account a day and make a killing. Well, just know it's exactly like you think. And when I first saw it, I thought, yeah, this is probably not going to work out. But you got to learn. It's not money. it's not it's not wasted. It's learning. And if you go into it like that, now here's one thing these prop accounts will do for you. It gives you experience playing with bigger money. And like I said, my goal is to trade several of these contracts and do my best to find the optimal trade entries, the most likely. We're going to set our stop losses really close, and we're going to let the winners run. Now, this is, I'm not selling you anything. I just want to turn you on to some things, okay? I have been tempted to put together a team of people that have been doing it for 30 and 40 years and work together and do live entries and stuff like that. That would have really helped me. But for now, I want to get into the comments. Eric, Mr. Eric, are you the new Johnny Bravo trader? I'm missing the hair, man. I couldn't do Johnny Bravo. Hey, Pete, Psalms 19. Can't quote that one. I'm not very good at quoting scripture. I have been reading quite a bit of it lately. And especially when the last video about forgiveness and people to not hang around. I've actually been working on a video about forgiveness because after you figure out the people you shouldn't be hanging around, there's a good chance you should probably forgive them, because if you don't, you're literally asking for hell to be brought into your life. Okay, so the next video that's off topic would be about that. Corporate greed. Guys, thank you for being here. Charger Mopar, Vincent Stevens. Anyone know if there's a micro mini ticker for natural gas futures? Yes, there is. You can trade natural gas. I've traded it. It's like $10 a tick. It's expensive. So trying to get in is hard. And it changes. They'll let you get in. Like I'm on Trade Station is one of my brokers. And you can get in during the daytime, but when the market closes, when you got in, really good, and you just want to let it go, they up the price after I think it stops at maybe 4 o'clock. I don't know why it's not 3:30, and I'm talking about New York time. It's important too. Everybody set your charts to New York time. And I'll let you know about Stacey's vehicle, her Ford Edge. That groove, this groove right here. My plan is I'm going to weld up that slot. That's what I'm going to do. If Ford won't do anything, I highly doubt they do. If Ford does not do what they should do, I'm going to try block sealer first. I mean, what do I have to lose? And then I'm going to pull the head off the motor. I'm going to weld that up, and any cracks I see, hone it out and reface the block. That's my plan. If it doesn't work, then what have I lost? A little bit of time, So be careful. If you're planning on buying any kind of Ecoboost that's used, there's several people that I've seen online that are putting block sealer, Blue Devil, or you name it. People put black pepper in there to stop it, but it doesn't last forever. And the one guy I read about, he got 15,000 miles out of it, and then he traded it in, but he didn't think it lasted much longer. Some people, it doesn't work. Some people, it works, but you don't want to buy a car that's got being held together with block sealer, okay? So be careful. No, don't be careful. Just don't do it. How about that? Don't buy something that's not good. That car was a gift for Stacey's 10th anniversary. And, here we go. But going back, hindsight, I wish I would have bought a Toyota. Honda. You know, one of those things that lasts forever. Now the older Ford trucks is all I drive, the 7.3. Somebody earlier that's saying they had a 7.3. But guys, everything is manipulated, and it's up to us to try to figure out how to not be part of the problem. And literally, I'm going full Conan. And if you hear of any YouTuber promoting a company and really pushing it like it's the best, this precious metals company is going to go to the moon, you better buy it right now, or whatever it may be, lithium, you know what I'm talking about. Let me know, because my plan is to, okay, Jose, thank you. Jose, turn the lights on for me. I've got a new camera coming, by the way, too. I've got a new camera coming, and this is going to be set up a little bit nicer, and I won't have the lights in your eyes. But guys, have an awesome, awesome day. Please hit the like button on your way out. Later.